memory lane to history. The story behind the freedom of this country is victory. See, people say that this is the same country that bore the pain our children suffered in vain with their hands and legs bound by the chains that enslaved them. Fought our way through the dark era of colonialism, held on farm and hoped for better days during those hard trying times when she was ruled by a dictator, a man who took over her, terrorized her children and left them in pieces from which they still try to recover. People say that Gambia is a peaceful place with an amazing culture, a nation so nice with a beautiful structure that it is home of legends with great legacies, home of icons what praised with the struggles of whom the red, white, blue, white and green flag was raised, a nation known for its peace, love and unity, inhabited by people blessed with beautiful smiles of humanity. See, I am not illegal migration, a journey that cost most of them their lives as they drown into that dream-crushing ocean. You see, instead of figuring out solutions to this problem, everybody is busy pointing fingers. The young people blaming the government for not creating employment opportunities, for not giving them a chance to prove their capabilities, and the government blaming the young people for their lack of diligence. See, Gambia being this boy with Janga by high school and all of a sudden drops out because he can no longer cope with the school system which he believes is too tough. Mutokir, where is I wajuram, wala mudo de kapembeda, more miguram bukara bamunako, bro natala, fajma fajigi ataya wai. And when he's tired of this, he turns to the streets and earns himself a certificate in robbery, theft and drug abuse. Suparianan, the kabinehud, Haris Amu, Chona Biaga, and Biligi Jehud, Manda, Disa to Madara, them back way. See, in this country, everybody dreams to live in luxury, but instead we dwell in never-ending poverty. Do you know why? See, I'll tell you why. It's because in the Gambia, people don't oppose each other with new ideas or innovations. No. In this country, people compete each other with juju and witchcraft, Kuneka the whole tomorrow with bad intentions. So do not be surprised that there is still no development in our nation. See, we are blessed with beautiful black skins, but we have hatred and jealousy in the blood flowing through our thickest veins. Just for power, people in this country commit the darkest sin. The Gambia being just could rare so anya even though more than half of the Gambian population practices agriculture. In this country, a man can rape an innocent girl, take away her pride in the silence of the night and get away with it because we are so blinded by our culture. No matter how this Gambia being we don't even support our own. Think I just a promoter who is willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to a foreign artist but is never willing to do the same for his own. So for Gambian artists we on their show, the number of people you find them you can count and know why change is for foreign artists we knew it. Kuneka diligent Harris for clothes and tickets, all of that just for show. I mean I know the Gambian music industry has some whack artists who only release crappy songs, some who are too busy hating and beefing on each other, which is totally all wrong. But there are a few good ones who are hardworking and have proven to be strong. So why development comes with a prize? We voted for change once. Who says we can twice? Power of freedom.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you may be. This is Gambian Talents Promotion and this is the Gambian Talents Forum. On today's episode, we have a young talented Gambian, Miss Lala Touray. Well, she is the writer of the spoken word Gambia in Depth. This spoken word is almost played every time in the Luther Gambia Rhythm show hosted by Pa Usman Diouf and Eva Sar. People are always asking, who is she? Who is the person who did this? You know, we want to know her. But today, we have her, the beautiful, young and talented Lala. Hi Lala, how are you?
Hi, Veronique. Thank you very much for having me here. I am really honored.
Oh yes, she said she is honored. So Lala, look at the Gambia in Depth. What inspired this writing?
Actually, like when I write my poems, when I write my spoken word, like I look around me, I am actually inspired by so many things when I am writing. I'm inspired by movies I watch, the music I listen to, my society, what happens in my society. So when I was writing Gambia in Depth last year, I looked around me and I saw that so many wrong things were going on, and out there in the world, everybody is talking about the Gambia. You know, the Gambia is a peaceful country. The Gambia is beautiful. It's inhabited by good people. You know, talking about hospitality and all that. But then deep inside Gambia, problems that we need to talk about. Some of these things we don't even talk about them, like when I talked about rape, like when a young girl is raped, but she is asked to keep quiet about it because it's culture of silence and all of that. and the fact that we have so many people going into agriculture, but there are still people who are going hungry. They cannot even provide themselves with food. So these are things that came across my mind when I was writing about Gambia in depth, and I wanted to involve all other aspects, everything else that is happening in the country, the dictatorship that we went through, the hunger, the corruption that we have in our leaders, the bad way, the school system, the music industry, and all of that. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to write about all of these things.
So you're basically saying that all what you wrote are things that you see happening in the Gambia.
Yeah.
You're saying that all those things that you actually wrote about are things that, you know, you can see them in the Gambia right now.
There are things that are happening. There are things that we know about. There are things that people are experiencing every day. Things that people are saying in our societies every day. So those are the things that I wrote about in Gambia.
So Lala, please, can you tell me why you started with praising the country, talking about the nice people, talking about a lot of nice things, and then you just out of nowhere, you just jumped into, you know, I was like, hey kid,
I know, like I was saying, like we have so many people out there. So many people out there, and like tourists who come to the Gambia. Like we all know the Gambian people are beautiful. We all know that Gambian people have good hearts. And we all know about Gambians and hospitality and all that. That is why we're the smiling coast of Africa. But apart from all these good things about Gambia, apart from all these beautiful things about Gambia, there are also bad things that we need to talk about. Bad things that we cannot just keep quiet about and pretend they're not happening. So that is why I decided that I was going to start with saying all the good things about Gambia and end with the bad things.
Yes, because I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay then, linking your spoken word to what is currently happening in the Gambia, you talked about corrupt leaders and all those things. Are you trying to tell me that the Gambia is currently facing corrupt leadership?
Yeah, basically every developing country in Africa. Every developing country in Africa.
But how can you defend
Gambia.
How can you defend that in the Gambia right now?
Well, we do know that we have corrupt leaders. We do know that we did have.
Can you please tell me those corrupt leaders that?
Well, I
see
what you're trying to get me to say here, but yeah, in short, I am not going to be pointing fingers and all of that. But we do know we have corruption in our institutions. We do know we have corrupt leaders. We do know we have corruption even in the office of the president in the Gambia. So you know, these are things. This is what I meant by corrupt leaders. Like these leaders are corrupt, but then they have fake faces, fake smiles on their fake faces. You know, like you know, deceive us. But we do know that there is corruption in government institutions.
But then who are you blaming for all these? Because if you say that they, you know, they have fake smiles and all these things, and they are deceiving us, it means that we are foolish to be deceived. Does that mean that the political illiteracy rate in the Gambia is really high?
It is. It is. Like as a political science student, I say this all the time. Like just in my most recent interview, I said this. Like the illiteracy and the lack of political awareness is why we have corrupt leaders and bad leaders over and over again. Because you realize that most of our votes during presidential elections come from rural Gambia, and these are people who lack political awareness. These are people. These are areas where more than half of the people living there are illiterate. So you see, this is what these are factors that are contributing to corruption in the Gambia, bad leadership in the Gambia, and all of that. So yeah, I do believe that it's the high rate of illiteracy in the Gambia.
Being a political science student, what do you think is the remedy to this political illiteracy in the country?
Well, I would say let's encourage the young people to go more into political analysis. Let's encourage the young people to get to know their leaders, the kind of leaders that they vote for, the kind of leaders that they put into office, and be able to hold these leaders accountable. Be able to ask questions. Be able and set up institutions to which these leaders are answerable to. You know, these are things that can help because young people all over the world, wherever you go, young people play very vital roles in that country's development, especially in developing countries like the Gambia. So it is very important that our young people are politically conscious. Our young people have the ability to hold leaders accountable, are ready to do that, and are determined to stop corruption happening in the government.
But what do you think government needs to put in place to ensure that the political illiteracy in the Gambia is really put in place? Because what you said is really true. When it comes to illiteracy in the Gambia, I could say political illiteracy, the rate is very high in the Gambia. People don't even know why they vote. A recent interview, I was asking somebody, why did you vote? The person was telling me, you know, I was hearing a lot about this man's name, so I had to vote for him. You know, after I interviewed the man, then I went and I was saying to myself, is this how people vote? Because I was wondering. So what do you think that the government needs to place? Is it that they are not going out all there to educate people on elections because probably they want the votes for themselves or something?
This is where civic education comes in. This is why civic education is very relevant, especially to those people in rural Gambia. I always put emphasis when I am talking about these things on rural Gambia. These are people who need civic education. Like politicians, the problem is with the politicians themselves. The problem starts with the politician. In as much as I blame us, the people, sometimes, they would go to places where they know that the people are not politically literate, and then they would use them to campaign, you know, like go there, make promises, take their drums and all that, and then they make promises to those people. And then those people get to vote for them. And this is how we are still facing bad leadership in this country, and this has to stop. But then we cannot depend on the politicians to help stop this. What I'm saying in short is we cannot depend on the government to help stop this, because at the end of the day, they're all politicians, and they're all going to use people to do what favors them the most. So that is where the problem lies right now.
Okay, you talked about unemployment. And you talked about some people having the degrees, having the papers, having all that's required for them to get a job. But, you know, they don't just have a job. So what do you think is the major reason for the setback?
Well, I would say we all know that in the Gambia, like, employment is the rate of unemployment is on the increase daily. Maybe this is because the percentage of young people making up the populace is higher. Like we have more than half of the Gambian population are young people. Maybe this is why. But then I always put emphasis on the government promoting sectors like agriculture, sectors like industrialization, because these are areas where you can employ young people. Not all the young people who go to school can have white collar jobs, you know, go to the offices and all of that. So these are areas that we need to promote. These are areas that we need to improve on as a country, and employ more of our young people into these areas. And then,
but don't you think that there are some old people who are in some offices holding on to those offices? They don't want to retire. They just want to die in those offices. What do you think? What do you say about those people who are just holding on to offices like very firmly?
The old people should be able to realize the talents, to be able to realize the potentials of the young people and give them the opportunity to lead. We should break down the stereotypes. We should stop with giving old people the position when we have capable young people in this country and even outside who can come back here and work and deliver very good. But then instead of doing that, we are giving our offices, we are giving our institutions to old people who've been there for like how many years ago. We need to start promoting young talent. We need to start giving young people the opportunity to explore. Like we need to give them the opportunity to you know, show the world what they've got, showcase their talents. You know, we have capable young people in the Gambia. We all know that. We have young people who are determined to work, who are relentless, who are very diligent, who are ready to put in relentless efforts to help develop the Gambia. So why can't we give them the opportunity? Instead, we are giving it to old people who don't really deserve it, if you would ask me.
Okay, you linked illegal migration to unemployment. You said that some of these people are not employed, that is why they go into illegal migration. But do you think that unemployment is a justification for illegal migration? Whereas we have farms that need hands, entrepreneurship is here, but it's like people don't just want to embrace these things because they're just aiming for high things, they just want luxuries. So what do you have to say about these things? Because when you linked the two things, I was like, these two things to me, it contradicts against each other, because I don't actually think that unemployment should be a reason why somebody should take the back way.
Well, that is why I said the government should embark on promoting agricultural sector and industrialization and entrepreneurship, like you said, because if young people are given the reasons to stay, they're going to stay. And the fact is, unemployment has contributed, if not 100%, it has contributed about 75% to why young people of the Gambia go to illegal migration. Like we have young people here. I've seen people who even went to university, and from university they embarked on this risky journey. Why is that? They're educated, but they know that when they stay back here, they're not going to have good jobs, even if they would. These are jobs that cannot take care of their basic needs. So this is why the government should really embark on promoting these sectors that I've mentioned, because with that, the young people are going to be given the reason to stay back and develop Gambia.
Okay, regarding the conflict between the government and the youth, as you said. The government saying blaming the youth for their lack of diligence, and then the youth blaming the government for unemployment and stuff. How would you link it with John F. Kennedy's quote, which says that ask not what you can do, what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country? How would you link these two?
Well, that is a quote that I use almost every time when I am making my speeches and all that. I believe as young people we should be able to, work for our country, for the betterment of our country, for the development of our country, expecting nothing in return. But then in cases where the situation like what is going on in the Gambia, where it's not encouraging, where the government does not really listen to young people, does not really pay attention to the ideas that young people have got, it becomes very difficult for you to work towards developing your country when the people in the high offices are not ready to listen to your ideas or are not ready to give you the opportunity to come back here and invest. So that is where the problems start to come in. Yeah.
Okay. How you related unemployment to as the cause of robbery, theft, and drug abuse? But then, how true is that? Because there are some people who are in public offices, who are in government offices, and they're embezzling the funds, which makes them thieves, and they're employed. So all these things, they actually, to me, they actually ring a bell, because you can see somebody who is actually walking, and that person can be on the drug abuse or something, you understand? And the person can be robbing, the person can be stealing, the person is still employed. So what do you have to say about those things?
About that, I think you missed a point or two in that area. Basically what I was talking about in that area was the bad school system, like the poor school system in the Gambia. Like the young people in this country, when they are fed up with the school system, or when they feel the school system is not encouraging enough for them, they drop out. And when you drop out, you are unemployed, you still depend on your parents, and then at the end of the day, this pushes you to do some of these things. This pushes you to go into crime, this pushes you to go into drug abuse and all of that. And we have so many young people who've embarked on the risky journey of illegal migration because they dropped out of school, they're unemployed, and they have no hopes of making it in the Gambia. And before they even embarked on this journey, they were into various crimes like drug abuse, robbery, and all of that. So this is why I was trying to link this with the poor school system in the Gambia and the fact that the young people are discouraged by the school system in the Gambia.
Okay, how would you defend the statement that there is no development in our nation?
Well, the Gambia gained independence in 1965, and to date, there are areas, key areas in development that we are still lacking behind in, like health, like education, like I just mentioned.
Okay, how do you think that Gambia is lacking behind when it comes to health and education? Can you please dilate on that fact?
Well, okay, we still have people in the Gambia. The health system is not very encouraging. Like I work with a philanthropic organization, the Gambia Diaspora Healthcare Initiative. What we do is help the hospitals with medical supplies and computers and all that. So I have experience when it comes to hospitals. I've been to some of the hospitals, like even the referral hospitals in the Combo area.
Okay, being a university student, a political science student at the University of the Gambia, would you say that Gambia is lagging behind when it comes to education?
Yeah, even the University of the Gambia, I would say is the worst institution that you can ever go to in this country. I am at the University of the Gambia. I know the situations at the University of the Gambia. I know what is going on at the University of the Gambia. Like for my school, School of Arts and Sciences, we don't even have a campus. We use the college premises for our lectures. So I know what is going on in the Gambia. So if the University of the Gambia is as bad as I am saying, then obviously the education
like
system
how bad? Because I also okay.
Very bad.
Like very bad.
Very bad. When it comes to transportation, it is bad. When it comes to research, it is bad. Personally, I've never been able to make any research in the university because we don't have internet. Or you go to the university and then network problems come in, and then you have lecturers who don't even show up when they're supposed to. And all of this is contributing to our poor education system. And like I said, if the University of the Gambia can be that bad, how about other education institutions in this country?
Okay. If you say the University of the Gambia is that bad, I won't argue anymore. So we'll just rest that case for now. Okay, you said that Gambians don't oppose each other with innovations and ideas. Are you saying that Gambians are not innovative?
I never said that.
No, it's just a question I'm asking.
Yeah.
If that is what you meant by that statement.
That's not what I meant. What I mean is, we need to be able to start opposing each other with new ideas and innovations.
How do you mean by opposing each other with ideas and innovations?
The competition needs not to be between kii mu ngee def lu raw man lu ma nekk di def, so dama ko war a hate. The competition should be you bring your idea and I oppose that idea, bring a better idea. You understand?
Okay, you also talked about us opposing ourselves with jujus and witchcraft. So have you ever been a victim of the jujus and witchcraft?
No, not really. Not that I know of. But I do know it's happening in our society. I do know it's something that is happening in our society. That is why I talked about it. And I talked about it because I want the kind of Gambia I want is the kind of Gambia where, like I said, people will be able to oppose each other with new ideas and innovations. Like you come up with your innovation or you come up with your idea, I compete you, and then I come up with a better idea. This is how development comes about. But then not. Veronique has come up with a very good invention. And then all of that. So this is how we are. Yeah, you understand my point. This is how competing each other is how we bring about development, not the yahalante.
Okay, you talked about us committing the dark sins for power. Do you know of anyone who has committed the darkest sins for power?
Politicians.
Politicians. Okay. You see, the way you said it with so much, So tell me an example of these politicians who are committing the darkest sins for power. Because I really want to know them so that, when I just see them, I'll be running away. Because I cannot imagine what the darkest sin is.
I am going to try as much as possible to stay away from name calling, but we do know when we talk about politicians are people who are willing to go to any extent in order to get what they want.
Okay, you are a political science student, right?
Yep.
Is it that you want to be a politician or?
No, I went into political science not because I want to be a politician, but because I want to be a political analyst.
You want to be a political analyst?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to ask you a question. You're talking about politicians this way. When you become a politician, I will stand and talk against you.
Well, I have no interest of going into politics for now.
Okay. Yeah. Also you talk about being blinded as culture as a justification for somebody going scot-free after committing rape. And that is something very serious because you cannot just commit rape and just go scot-free like that. So what is that thing that made you write about rape and linking it to culture?
Well, we do know there are people in the Gambia who still practicing the culture of silence. We do know, like, personally, I've seen, just like 2 weeks ago, I've seen a victim who was raped by the father. And these cases are happening every other time. Like, every day these cases are happening. But most of these girls who were raped do not come out with it. Do not go to the to the police with it.
But who would you blame for this?
I would blame our culture. I would blame the parents who asked the girl bukawa so ko kisa papa la wala sanyi jala waru loko wa danko wara no pinga ko sutura. You understand? It's our society.
But blaming the parents and blaming our culture, don't you think that the girls also have a point to play when it comes to this? Because after going through that pain, you just don't sit on it and then just don't say anything about it.
Well, okay, this is you thinking that way because you're exposed. You know your rights. You know what's wrong. But how does a young girl in rural Gambia get to know about this? They don't.
That means you're trying to say that sensitization is lacking behind.
It is, and I hope that the responsible bodies, the responsible organizations for this, I know a lot of organizations that are responsible for this, and they're doing whatever it is they can do to help sensitize these people. But then it's still happening. The culture of silence is still there, and it's something that we need to fight. Because
so what do you have to say to those parents, those girls out there who are going through this thing?
Well, if you are out there and you're going through this, don't keep quiet about it. Go to the responsible authorities and make sure you make your report. Because if that guy stops doing it with you, he's going to do it with somebody else. So it's not just about you, it's about all the other young girls who you can save. So don't keep quiet about it.
Okay, why did you say that we Gambians don't support our own?
Well, we don't. We don't support our own, and it's quite evident. Like, that is why I try to link it. I try to link it with the music industry. Like, we know when international foreign artists come here, like Jerusalem of another country, Buguda, just Senegal here, when they come here, we see everybody like 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior to the event, kune kamuge lijanti lumos or kune kamuge lijanti halis put together. But when the Gambian artist has The foreign artists can fill up an international at the Gambian stadium. But Gambian artists more from a single mom kena more def a show more festival in the Gambian the independent stadium. Who? This is not because they are not good at what they do. A lot of them are good at what they do.
Okay.
But this
that
is,
brings the other question. You said that there are some wacky artists, some wacky Gambian artists who, I don't know, I cannot just remember.
Yeah.
But you did talk about them. So tell me who those artists are. Because if you talked about them, it means you have you know something about them.
Well, we all know the Gambian music industry. We all know who the good artists are.
No, I don't know. So you know, being somebody that I don't know anything about the Gambian music industry, I want you to educate me, because you know, as I'm going into music, I want you to tell me the people who are good so that I can listen to them. But you cannot just tell me some of them are bad. You know, you don't have to listen to some of them, and you don't tell me who the some are. So please tell me who those some are so that I will know.
Well, I don't think it's very relevant, and like I said, I am trying to keep away from the name calling. But obviously, if anybody out there, everybody out there who is a follower of the Gambian music industry.
So are you trying to tell me that Baibabo is part of it?
I didn't say that.
Killer
I never. You're not putting me in trouble.
No, you know, I just want you to tell me.
No,
you know,
no go area.
Okay, then. Why did you say that the new government is ruling over the corrupt old system?
Well, I always say this wherever I go or wherever I speak in public, that there is no new Gambia. There is no new Gambia. And like a politician said, there is regime change, but there is no system change. It's the same old system that's going on.
Okay, tell me about the regime change and the system change before we go into the new Gambia aspect.
Well, the regime change is the fact that we voted out the former president and then we brought in a new government, the coalition government. System change would have been if there was a reform, like a whole reform of the whole system, and then all the corruption, all the nepotism, all the bad governance, all of that.
Okay, you're trying to tell me that all those things are happening again.
They are.
Like it's happening repeatedly.
They are. Those are the same things.
What do you have to prove those things?
Well, it's been.
What are your facts?
It's been more than a year that this new government came in. What if they don't? We know there is corruption.
Okay, being a 20-year-old girl, don't you feel scared to say some things like?
No, I don't.
Okay, if it were the former government, would you be talking like this?
Well, when the former, like I was born and then I grew up, like when the former government was here, and I saw half of the things that happened, like I saw all of the things that happened here. My own family was a victim of the former government. But then, and when the former government was leaving, I was just 18. So now that the former government is gone, I am hell-bent on making sure that what happened with the former government does not happen with this one again. And it does not matter to me what happens if you talk, or what happens, what people think about you, or what the government labels you with. You know, like I am part of this civil society organization, Power of Freedom, and they label us as rebels. We're just activists, but that is how a lot of people see us. So it's not really, like, I don't think it's important when you decide to speak. I don't think it's important when you decide to stand up and act. What matters is we are doing it now, and we are ready to fight up to any extent to make sure that these things are history in our country.
Okay, give me reasons why you believe that there is no new Gambia.
Like I said, there is regime change, but there is no system change. That alone should tell people that there is no new Gambia. Maybe there is a new government, yes, but there is no new Gambia. Everything that was happening in the Gambia, except for the human rights violation side, maybe that one is gone with the former president, but everything else that was happening in the Gambia is still happening. But
why did you label it as so-called New Gambia?
That is because I don't believe there is no New Gambia. That is because I hear people talking about New Gambia or saying there is a New Gambia when I believe there is no New Gambia. That is why I labeled it as so-called, because I don't believe it exists.
Okay. You talked about people going democracy. Are you also including me as part of the people going democracy?
Well, we have people, especially the social Facebook government. You know, like I was watching the other time, there are two governments in the Gambia, the social media Facebook government and the federal government. We have people on social media who have no idea what democracy is all about. People who don't understand or know what a democratic state is all about. So these are people who would just go out there and start saying anything that comes to their mind, and all of that. So these are people who've gone democracy, if you would ask me, because these are people who need to know about democracy before they need to
Okay, so you're telling me that there is a misconception with the word democracy, because even sometimes I'll just pass and then people will be doing something that they know is wrong, and they will say democracy, and then you will know that these people are not even educated. They don't even know what democracy is all about, but they can just use the word randomly.
You know what's more disheartening? To have the educated ones who also have no idea what democracy is all about. We do have them, a whole lot of them actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, this message, the whole spoken word thing, was it directly for the government, addressed to the government, or the Gambian populace?
The entire Gambian populace.
Including the government?
Including the government, including the people in the diaspora, everybody that is Gambian, this message was for them.
Okay, you said that development comes with a price. So can you tell me what that price is, that price tag that you're talking about?
Well, we do know that development comes with a price. Like, this is a very diverse, it's very diverse when you talk about this. I believe I mentioned that at the end of the spoken word. So, yeah, so development comes with a price, and if this is a price that this government is not willing to pay, or this is a price that they're not willing to, I don't know how to put this, but then it is a very diverse area. Development comes with a price. It's a very diverse area. It's very broad.
Okay, you said we voted for change once. Who said we can't twice?
Yeah.
Was that a threat to the new government or what?
Maybe, if you put it that way. Like, I was just trying to put the message across that, you know what, when we were tired of the former government, when we were tired of the former president, we voted him out. So if you give us reasons to vote you out, we are going to vote you out.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me that that is a threat. So new government, you hear it, if you don't do your job, we are going to vote you out. Say this. Okay, and then your spoken word with power of freedom. What do you mean by power of freedom?
Like I said, I am the Assistant Secretary General for a civil society organization, Power of Freedom. And what we do is stand up against injustice, against corruption, be the voice of so many voiceless people out there, and be of help to people who need it. So when I was recording, I recorded the audio, I recorded the spoken word under the Power of Freedom label. So which is why I mentioned Power of Freedom under when the spoken word.
Is there a hidden meaning behind Power of Freedom?
No, like I said, Power of Freedom is a civil society organization in the Gambia, and the things that I mentioned, those are things that we are standing up against in the Gambia. We are, like I told you, we are often labeled as the radicals or the rebel activists, but then this is because we are ready to fight for the rights of the Gambian people. We are ready to fight against injustice and corruption, and we don't mind whatever comes our way. We take it in good faith.
Okay, then what would be your last words I can say to everyone who's watching you there regarding the current state of affairs in the Gambia?
Well, I would say my message would be to the young people, this is the time for us to stand up. This is the time for us to work together. This is the time for us to bring about development in our country. Because if we don't do it, nobody is going to do it for us. This is our time to shine. This is our time to change Gambia. This is the time we need to unite more than ever. So let's unite and work with or without the government. We are going to get this done.
Okay. What would be your words of address to the government then?
Well, I would say make sure you do what the people voted you to do. Make sure you work, make sure you keep your promises, make sure you bring about the change that the Gambian people wanted and hoped for when they voted you into office. Don't just be carried away by all the luxury, by all the traveling and all of that. Make sure that you deliver like we expected you to deliver. If not, we will be here in 5 years' time to vote. And
is it 5 years?
Well, 5 years constitutionally it should be 5 years.
I meant from now.
4.
Yeah,
4.
That's why I'm asking.
4.
Okay, thank you very much, Lala Touray. It was a pleasure talking to you. I guess she has educated us a lot regarding politics. She being a political science student, she knows a lot regarding politics. Thank you very much. And this is it for the Gambian Talents Forum. Till we meet again, thank you. I am your host, Veronique Jai, and today we had Lala today. Lala, what would you say to
I would like to say a very big thank you to everybody out there who's watching, who has watched this show, and I'd like to say a thank you, very big thank you to yourself and all your camera technicians out there, and to Paus Manja also for reaching out to me and for being very supportive. Thank you very much.
Okay.